bank breaker. Man in the bank out, Jude Bellingham to Arsenal. Hello everyone and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right up here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Carlos. I'm more than interested in bringing to you the latest straight as it comes in. So what's happening? What's definitely happening? The summer transfer is definitely here. What's happening? What's going to be taking place in the summer transfer window? And right about now, guess whom we're talking about? We're talking about a powerful, young, talented, good football player. And guess who that is? That is none other than Jude Bellingham. So for those of you who do not know who Jude Bellingham is, Jude Bellingham actually is called Jude Victor William Bellingham. He's a professional football player who plays as a midfielder for Bundesliga club Borussia Dortmund and also plays for the English national team. It will be remembered that Jude Bellingham in the World Cup, he displayed quite a lot of talented football. He played very well in that. After the World Cup, even before the World Cup, he was already known as a very good football player. But how he played in the World Cup it definitely increased his worth, and lots of clubs definitely said they could definitely want him. So is Arsenal really going to break the bank to sign this gentleman? Is it necessary for Arsenal to break the bank to sign Jude Bellingham? If you were to ask me my opinion, my decision on Jude Bellingham joining Arsenal, I would say 100% yes, because Arsenal is looking at reinforcements in the midfield section, and some of the midfielders they are talking about, you cannot put them to comparison with Jude Bellingham. So he could be a bank breaker. He could be a bank breaker for Arsenal. It could be a bank breaker for Arsenal. As Arsenal are looking at reinforcement in the midfield section. So it's going to be great. It's going to be massive. I think it's going to be brilliant one. With Arsenal making sure that they can have the best of seasons the coming season, they are trying to make sure that they want the Premier League title. They definitely want to make sure that all goes on quite well for them. Arsenal are trying as much as they can to make reinforcement. So this summer transfer window is going to be used, actually is being used by Arsenal to make sure that they can match the squads of other clubs. Looking at depth has always been an issue at Arsenal. Arsenal has always tried to look at depth, to address depth. Arsenal has always tried to make sure that they can get depth, but it's been an issue for a long time, with quite a number of sports analysts talking about depth, the depth problem at Arsenal. I think if they get a few more football players in, that definitely will be something that will be good. When we talk about depth, when you look at squads and you have a squad like Manchester City say, and you've got Haaland playing, and Haaland has got a good substitute. You've got Foden playing, he's got a good substitute. You've got Mahrez on the bench. You've got Ilkay Gundogan not playing. He's on the bench. Definitely, that's what we mean by depth. But when you look at Arsenal, depth is limited, and that's something that is going to be most likely is going to be sorted in this summer transfer window, and that's why Arsenal is looking at buying quite a big number of football players. However, the money for Jude Bellingham is definitely quite insane, a lot of money. So is Arsenal going to be is Arsenal willing to pay this amount of money? Let's see how much Jude Bellingham is definitely worth. Let's see the transfer market for Jude Bellingham. Transfer value actually for Jude Bellingham. So market value for Jude Bellingham. So Jude Bellingham is actually 183.9 million pound, and that definitely is quite a bit up. That's a very big number for the club. Arsenal, I must say, 128 million pound. With Foden, they're saying Foden has is at 177.1 million pound, whose Manchester City contract runs out in 2027. And Mbappe and the fourth ranked Vinicius Junior, Real Madrid, is on. They are both on 168. So Jude Bellingham is the top right about now. Market value for Jude Bellingham is the top one right about now. But uh, I think it's no more. I think it's no more with Haaland coming into the picture. Haaland's market value is quite high, but Jude Bellingham is quite high, and as statistics are saying, the latest statistics are saying, it's 183 million pound is what Borussia Dortmund is looking for to make sure that they can sell, and you have to be careful because this price could increase from 183 million pound. It could definitely increase to a bigger figure as time goes on. It could increase as the transfers go on. As we dig deep into the summer transfers, the summer transfer goes on day by day. The market is going to be insane because a lot of clubs are going to bid on him. They want him. They want to have him. So I think it's going to be quite challenging for the club Arsenal, but I'm not saying it's unachievable. If Arsenal wants the Premier League title next season, definitely they will make sure that they are reinforcing in almost every section and also getting top football players who will bring a direct impact to the club. Direct impact, not actually even getting them to like the club, do what, teaching them. No, you do not need a football player like that at the stage where Arsenal is. You need a football player who will come and bring in results. No messing around. No messing around. So I think Jude Bellingham could definitely bring positive things to the club Arsenal, and it could be a bank breaker for the club Arsenal, as Stan Karionke and Josh Karionke have come out and said they are more than willing to inject in as much money as Borussia Dortmund wants. However, there are different clubs that are interested in Jude Bellingham. One of the clubs that is interested in Jude Bellingham is one of the clubs is Liverpool. Liverpool has wanted Jude Bellingham for quite a long period of time, with them failing to get him in the summer transfer window last season. It's now a year round, and they've tried in the general transfer window, still they couldn't get him. And right about now, they have also at first they were scared away by the price of Jude Bellingham, 183 million pound. They said no, we are not willing to invest in quite a lot of money to get Jude Bellingham. We are definitely not. But you will remember that Jude Bellingham is from Liverpool and is a Scouser, and he has always wanted to come back to play Premier League football, play football on home ground. But things have not been going on quite well for him, as Borussia Dortmund has not let any club have him. They have always had quite big amounts of money that clubs have not been willing to pay for this gentleman. However, right about now, I must say it's even much than even last season, but clubs are willing because they have seen why actually he's priced that much, why he is definitely having insane figures on him, a lot of figures, big figures. 183 million is big money, you know what I mean? It's quite a lot of money. So Arsenal are willing, Stan Karionke and Josh Karionke are looking into options. They're exploring options on buying this gentleman. They are ready, they want to spend the money, but also, you know how Arsenal is, they do not just spend the money. They always try and make sure they're spending the money. If they are spend the money on the right person, the right football player. So is Jude Bellingham the right fit for Arsenal? Let us know what you think, whether you think Jude Bellingham should come to Arsenal. And also, when you're commenting in the comment section, please put in consideration that Jude Bellingham is 183 million pound. Is he worth 183 million pound? Is he going to help the club that much? Anyway, I personally think Jude Bellingham is a great football player, a good one. If you asked me, undoubtedly I would go for him. I would not mess around. I would definitely go for him. And having talked about that, it's a good thing that Chelsea has not yet shown any interest in Jude Bellingham. But with Chelsea, the thing with Chelsea, when clubs are bidding on a football player, they do not put in their bids. They just wait for you and see. They see which club is putting in the biggest amount of money. All the clubs put in 100 million pound, 180, they'll come with 200 million pound, and they can have the football player they want. But it's not worked for them. They hijacked quite a big number of football players. They hijacked them, got a big number of football players. They've got maybe 3 squads. They've got maybe 3 or 4 full squads, but they have not managed to get in quite a lot. They've not got a lot of results, no big results in there. So I don't think it should be a big thing to worry about. The thing to worry about right about here is Manchester City. Manchester City has also said, City has got a lot of money, and Newcastle has also showed a bit of interest. And where does this leave Arsenal? Arsenal doesn't have that money. Arsenal has the money, but they're not willing to spend a lot of money like that on just one football player. Newcastle have got the money, but they are wise on how much they spend on football players. But they've got the money, they can get anyone they want. Then Manchester City has been in problems before for spending quite a lot of money, and they had... I don't know where that's the thing. I don't know where it's disappeared, but they still have a case to answer about fair financial play. Financial fair play. FFP rules definitely had Manchester City caught up, and I think this 183 million pound could be quite a big thing for Manchester City. Well, I'm not saying they're not going to spend in the summer transfer window. They are going to spend, but they're going to spend wisely. They are not going to spend insane money in the summer transfer window, and that's where Arsenal should take the advantage and make sure get to the bank and break it. 180 million pound sign Jude Bellingham, because if Arsenal is not competing with Manchester City and it's not competing with Newcastle United, because all of them are interested, Newcastle and Manchester City, but they are scared of spending, and the reason is why they are scared of spending. Their financial fair play rules do not allow them to spend quite a lot of money, and they have spent a lot of money before, but definitely it didn't go on quite well previously with the rules and regulations. So this time in the summer transfer window, there will be a bit of fear, and they're not going to go for top football players. They will not spend a lot. So that's where Arsenal needs to come in and spend the money, dash out the money, and get the football players they definitely want. So 183 million for the club, it's a lot of money. Arsenal do not have a history of spending quite a lot of money like this, but it's possible they've got the money. The Carionkers have got the money, but they're not willing to spend quite a lot of money. But Stan Carrion and also Mikel Arteta said this guy can fit in. This football player can fit in and at Arsenal 100%. And when you say Arsenal does not have that kind of football players, when you look at the entire squad of Arsenal, that's where the problem is. Arsenal is a good club with good football players, but they have all been built, almost all of them have been built by Arsenal, and they are basing on the tactics of Mikel Arteta. Also, some football, a club must bring a football player that is going to bring something else to the club. You know what I mean? And like Manchester City bought Haaland, and Haaland bought something new to the Premier League, and that's what we're looking at. That's what it is about. That's what our football is all about. It's not just what everybody can do. It's just what you can do, and you can do it much better than the others, and it's actually even different. That's what Erling Haaland did. And so if Jude Bellingham goes to Arsenal, that is what is going to happen. He's going to come with a different vibe, a different force, and definitely it's going to be massive. It's going to be brilliant. So 100% I think Arsenal should break the bank and sign this gentleman. They should sign this player. They should sign Jude Bellingham, and because the tight, stiff competition is going to be between Liverpool and Arsenal. However, not forgetting that Real Madrid also has launched a bid. They also want Jude Bellingham, but Jude Bellingham said why Real Madrid could not have him is because Jude Bellingham wants to come to England. He wants to play football in England, so he would prefer to join England teams, England clubs, than joining Real Madrid, which is in Spain. So I think it's a big advantage for the club. But Real Madrid has also a big advantage of having him if they convince him, because it's a great club. He could be playing alongside the likes of who's this, Vinicius Junior, Benzema. So I think it could be a great thing for him joining Arsenal, because he wants to come to the Premier League, and putting on comparison, I don't think. I mean, all these two clubs, Arsenal and Liverpool, all of them are stingy clubs. They don't want to spend money. But in comparison, Arsenal would happily spend 183 million than Liverpool. Liverpool is way too stingy. They don't want to spend a lot of money on football players. They do, but they rarely do. But I think now Arsenal is going to be cashing in. If everything goes on well, if everything goes on quite well, I think it's going to be a brilliant move for the club. Anyway, where you're watching from, which parts of the world are you watching from, just make it a point to subscribe, ring that notification bell, so that you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring to, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Carls, as I'm more than interested in bringing to you the latest trade as it comes in. Thank you and goodbye now. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.